Greetings, folks. The most savage ever. Most savage what? The most savage exposing of incredibly delusional people. That's what. Also, there's a big fight happening. Fight! Happening tomorrow in the world of MMA, in the UFC. In fact, there's a series of fights happening tomorrow. And there will be people thinking, ooh, most savage, ooh. No, it's not about violence. It's about ludicrous levels of stupidity. So, let's get on with it. So let's move this up. Wonderful. Hi, everybody in the chat. If you see people without wrenches and you see anybody with a wrench banning them or blocking them or gagging them, if the people without the wrench is not being abusive, please, guys, all you guys who you know that I trust, let me know later who it was, if anybody does that. What's this we have on the screen? Oh my gosh. This is Where's Wally trying to explain how right now you can't see any red. I know, because you see, you might think, yeah, you can see lots of red, of course, but Where's Wally thinks you can't see any red because this car is highly polished. Listen to him explain.
So I even went outside with my camera and got a red car and a bright light on my head, so that the source was directly behind the camera, just like...
Watch him aiming the light away from the car, because we all saw the colour of the car when the light was falling on the car. But just, I mean, this is next level retarded. You know that next level genius thing? This is next level retarded. Listen.
Tesla. And guess what? If you put a white spacesuit on the car, it's quite easy to get white coming back off of that. But it's really hard to get any red coming back scattering from a highly reflective red, very well polished red surface.
Now, this is not parody. He's not parodying himself. He's actually saying those words in the video that's showing all of that lovely red. This isn't out of sequence. I haven't tricked anything. I'm going to go back and show you. He's actually saying those words while showing a highly polished vehicle where you can obviously see that it's red.
Coming back off of that, but it's really hard to get any red coming back backscattering from a highly reflective red, very well polished red surface.
That's very well polished red surface. How can you tell? Because you can see how well it's reflecting that piece of paper.
And you know,
according to Wally, you can't see that red. No, you can only see the white. Yeah, you might think you're seeing red. You're wrong. You're only seeing white. I'm going to play it again.
it's really hard to get any red coming backscattering from a highly reflective red, very well polished red surface.
I could just leave it here, folks. This is the most savage ever exposure of a next level delusional retarded guy like Wes Wally. I could. I'm not going to though. I'm going to play it again.
The source was directly behind the camera, just like the Tesla.
Now, how's he achieving this right now? Well, you know the sun with its light that isn't aimed? Well, the torch that he's got, he's aiming it above the car so that only the fringes of the beam are reaching the white paper. That's what he's doing. Because the sun can do that in space too. It can just aim its light away so that only the fringes of the sun's beam, you know, that thermonuclear fusion up in space, yeah, it can aim its light selectively.
And guess what? If you put a white spacesuit on the car, it's quite easy to get white coming back off of that.
I don't know, dude. I think you were struggling a bit there. I can see some red. I'm going to play it again.
And the camera, just like the Tesla. And guess what? If you put a white spacesuit on the car, it's quite easy to get
Dude, we can see you're struggling. We can see you're struggling and you're showing a lot of red right now. Now, what I'm going to do, instead of addressing him, I'm going to just address you guys in the chat like we're talking about, like we're gossiping about a retarded guy. Okay? Look at this retarded guy. He's struggling with the lamp, with the torch. He's trying to get it so just the fringe is hitting the white paper. And obviously he's struggling. And whilst he's struggling, he's explaining that you can't see any red. I'm going to go back.
Direct sunlight on the car.
So I even went outside with my camera and got a red car and a bright light on my head. So the source was directly behind the camera, just like the Tesla.
Wait a second, we don't see the shadow of the camera on the car. Wasn't just like the Tesla, was it? It was, you didn't have a light on your head directly behind the camera, silly. We would have seen the camera shadow. We don't see the camera shadow. You're a bit, well, I mean, sorry, I keep falling into addressing him. The poor Deludo doesn't realise that people can see that you can't see the camera shadow. He thinks that he's going to trick people into thinking the light's just behind and it's aiming directly at the car, but obviously the shiny, shiny paint makes the light slip off. That's what he thinks. Listen.
And guess what? If you put a white spacesuit on the car, it's quite easy to get white coming back off of that. But it's really hard to get any red coming backscattering from.
Again, whilst the retardo is saying that, he's showing that it's actually quite easy to get red to, well, shine into the camera. Not backscattering, just shining into the camera. That's the light bouncing into the camera.
Highly reflective red, very well polished red surface. And you know, thinking about it, Elon Musk's red Tesla was going to be very, very well polished within an inch of its life, wasn't it? Because it was the ultimate car ad, ultimate demo. It's going to be shown to the whole world. He made sure that thing was as polished can be. So clearly when the sun is behind us and it's shining down past that little A-frame and onto the car, most of that sunlight is just bouncing back off into the black, dark inkiness of space.
That's it. It's just bouncing off. Hey, let's go back. What's happening here? Why isn't it just bouncing off into the blackness of the night sky? That's interesting. It's almost like it's bouncing like towards the camera.
Behind us and it's shining down past that little A-frame and onto the car. Most of that sunlight is just bouncing back off into the black, dark inkiness of space. And of course,
what's happening, he doesn't realise that what's happening is, when he's shining the beam away from the car so that only the fringes of the beam can reach the white paper, at that point, the beam's not falling on the car. That's why you can't see the red.
no light coming from the space back. So I guess
Look,
the only light that's coming back to the camera is from the white spacesuit. Kind of easy when you see it like that, isn't it, Antonio?
Kind of easy when you think of the sun just aiming its light like a torch. This is delusional, incredibly delusional, and the guy is self-deluding. I've got a theory as to why he's self-deluding. I'll tell you in a short while.
And unlike the cameras on the ISS HD Live experiment, the cameras on those 3 cameras on the Starman vehicle were very reactive to differing light conditions. They would.
You don't say. I mean, like, only the mirror is really reflecting light from the same source that's illuminating the Earth, that's so much more in the distance. That source is somehow avoiding the car, apart from the mirror. It's avoiding the car. It's not falling on the car and, you know, being so much closer to the camera, having so much more brightness. No. He thinks that brightness, proximity, shine, all those things, he just thinks are all magical things. Just magic. They can do whatever it is that you'd like them to do. That's what he thinks.
Change the exposure on demand as needed. And that's
like, for instance, he doesn't realise if somehow you could get light to avoid hitting an object directly, okay, and instead hit a different object that would then reflect light back towards the camera, that light that's reflecting back towards the camera, if the object that was originally being missed by the direct light is in its path, the reflected light is going to illuminate the object. We can see the Earth's reflection on the car. Somehow the Earth's light is not showing us the car's colour. Oh dear, but it gets better.
You see, as the vehicle spins from pointing out into the inky blackness of space, as it spins around and you suddenly get the Earth come in, all of a sudden
you can see that the light is being turned down a lot. You know, where the vehicle was, you can see that they're dimming. The people there with the dimmers must have had a whale of a time.
It starts changing and cranking and stopping down a whole heap, which is why the vehicle...
So right now, instead of light falling directly on the car, it's light not falling directly on the car, instead missing the car, hitting the Earth, bouncing from the Earth onto the car, and then from the car to the camera, without showing the car's colour. Because light can do that.
It starts going a lot darker. Can you see?
Do
you understand that, Antonio?
Oh, bless.
Do you get it? It's the cameras are dropping their exposure quite dramatically because you've now got full daylight blasting into the face of the camera.
And that obviously is much stronger than full direct sunlight blasting into the camera from highly reflective car surface. So
in summary, the main reason we're seeing all these weird effects is there is...
Wait, he just said in summary. Must be true.
Atmosphere, so you've got no scattering from the atmosphere. There is the most light is coming from the sun, the point source of light from the sun. The cameras are auto-exposure reacting quite dramatically.
Oh, what did I just see in the background? Did you see, folks, in the background? Let's take a look. Something happened in the background.
There is the most light is coming from the sun, the point source of light from the sun. The cameras are auto-exposure.
So now there's no Earth in the frame. So really that should be a ridiculously bright car because all of the sunlight is not interfering by bouncing off the Earth and into the camera. Instead, it's just hitting the car and the camera. But no, that's not what's happening.
Reacting quite
Keep watching the background. Oh, did you see? Oh, did you see some more?
Elon's red Tesla.
Are you seeing those bubbles?
That was highly polished and reflected a lot of light straight back off it, so unless the light was bouncing off the car and towards the camera, we just didn't see it. And the white spacesuit was very matte, and you could see it stand out in all sorts of directions. So between all of those effects, plus we just have very little experience looking at things in space.
we have very little experience looking at things in space. Let's look at that. Well, look at all that mottling. That's interesting. Don't remember the mottling before, but look at all the mottling. Oh dear. Must be, I don't know, space dust.
Well, look, as I scroll through, you see that, well, it doesn't address the lack of light. So
And Starman did do 1.5 orbits or so around the planet.
So Starman went around the Earth. That's right. Well, it's Australia, but never mind. Yes. Well, let's listen to some gibberish from the poor Deludo.
Time it did go totally into the dark, sort of a bit like a lunar eclipse type thing, but it was only pretty short because at 5,000 kilometre orbit, there's a lot greater chance that it's going to be in the sunlight than in that little tiny bit of Earth shadow.
So, at 5,000 kilometres, apparently that only makes a very small little pointy shadow of the Earth. Forget that, it's just another crazy talk from Mr. Wally. But what we're seeing now is supposedly in the shadow of the Earth. Yes, you can see on the windshield, you can see the reflection of the Earth's atmosphere, like it's off to the left and kind of behind the camera. But no, don't be silly, it's in front of you. The Earth is in front of you.
So check out...
It's just the night side. That's right, because you never thought that the night side of Earth might be all entirely black with tiny little bit of light. No, you didn't think that, did you?
Three things you see while the vehicle's in the shadow.
Gosh.
And when it's coming out of the shadow, we start to see Starman just getting a bit of shine off that tiny thin little crescent of Earth that's starting to show through. And that little rock.
He's kind of ignoring what we've been seeing. He's been ignoring what he's been showing. All of the time we've been seeing that crescent. We haven't been seeing it suddenly appear and start to grow. We've been seeing it all of the time, Dim Dim.
Light is a city. And what do you reckon that flashy stuff is? You're right, it's lightning. There were storms over South Africa that morning, and as Starman went cruising over, you could pick them up out the rear view mirror. Very, very cool stuff. Well, Antonio, now that all of that Starman lighting issue has been fully explained, I guess you need to go and talk to the person who told you about it, eh?
I don't know.
So they can give you some more clues?
I don't know.
You really don't know what to say now, do you?
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Watch the car stop being in Earth's shadow. That's all that we're looking for. In fact, we're going to go back a little bit. Notice the right wing of the car, or as you're facing the car, the portion on the right of the screen. Notice that getting some light from somewhere. That's right. The car is now going to go out of the Earth's eclipse shadow.
Are they?
I don't know.
So they can give you some more clues?
I don't know.
You really don't know what to say.
By the way, just thought I'd mention, with all this, are you going to check with whoever it was? That just tells you that, well, it could tell you that this is what the silly goblins do. They give each other notes saying, why don't you do this and why don't you do that? So funny.
Do you?
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't
lights
think so.
on the right of the car. Keep watching.
I
Oh,
just bumped
bless.
into Chris.
Excuse me for the coughing. We're going to go back in time to here. And then we're going to show the delusion of Rock Lover, Bobby Shafto, and this, the fool that's, been talking, like, where's Wally? That guy again. We're going to show some more of this. Just blatant stupidity. And I will tell you my theory on why they prop up the nonsense.
Like, so, when the
So, we've seen this before. I'm just going to play it.
Earth is gibbous. It is lit from up and to the right. There's light now falling into the Tesla Roadster from the sun, but somehow not onto the Tesla Roadster. Did you see that? let's go back.
No, he said, let's jump ahead to the demo by Wally, who pretends like his name's not Walter. He's so childish that when I suggested that he call himself Walt or Walter instead of Wally, he pretended that where's Wally? He's trying to he's intimating that he's singling out where the Wallies are. That's what the name means. He's pointing out where the Wallies are. That's right. Like Wolfie. Yeah. He's pointing out Wolfie to Wally. So let's see.
So I even went outside with my camera and got a red car and a bright light on my head, so that the source was directly behind the camera, just like...
Again, directly behind the camera has a specific meaning. Not somewhere near the camera, above the camera, or anything like that. Okay? Directly behind has a specific meaning. It was not directly behind. How can we determine this? Because if it was directly behind, we would have seen the camera's shadow. We don't see the camera's shadow, therefore we can establish and conclude reasonably that it wasn't directly behind the camera.
Tesla. And guess what? If you put a white spacesuit on the car, it's quite easy to get white coming back off of that. But it's
he has cut, whilst he's saying those words, he has cut to this shot. Watch.
Hard to get any red coming back scattering from a highly reflective red, very well polished red surface.
Like the one he's showing. It's very hard to see any red right now, isn't it? Anyway, enough of that. Complete moron. Where was I going to go? Oh, yes. Hello, everybody in the chat. Too many hits. Only 2 astronomers were tracking it behind the moon worldwide. I know of 2, so I said at least 2. There may well have been others I'm not aware of. Oh, too many hits. Look, you can have a wrench, even though you're a half-weight moron. You can have a wrench anyway. Because Wally's got a wrench. That's right. He popped in to say, you said I had a wrench, and I don't have a wrench. So I gave him a wrench. Now he has a wrench. But he doesn't say anything, even though he's watching. Oh. So, too many hits. Only 2 astronomers are traveling between the moon worldwide. No, you're wrong. There were lots of astronomers. According to too many hits, there were lots of astronomers, and you're just plain wrong. Now, where was I going to go? Oh, yes. Let me do this. Go down here. And is it? Yes. No, wrong one. No, yes, this is the wrong one. Forget that. Hey, what's this? This is what we were discussing yesterday. First thing we're going to do is just go through 3 of them. Here's one from Bobby Shafto. Here's another one from Bobby Shafto. And here's one from me from Bobby Shafto's video. Okay? All I've done is lined up the horizons. Okay? So Bobby Shafto's, mine. Now, there are some very simple, stupid people like Rocklover who can sometimes grasp complex ideas, but not simple ones. Like, for instance, if you zoom in on this, like if I expand the image, the red lines will look thicker. But I've just left them as they are so that we can compare with these yellow lines and see which are thicker. Because apparently, according to Rocklover, I cheated by putting the thickest red lines possible. Well, they weren't quite as thick as Bobby Shafto's yellow lines. Now, we're going to just look at the horizon and the red line. And as I switch between Bobby Shafto's 2 images, we see a very similar relationship between the convergence and the horizon. See, as I switch back and forth. We also see quite a lot of compression. I mean, very odd situation happening, you know, with these posts somehow growing in length, but never mind that. Okay, that can just be a resolution problem. I don't know. Maybe Wally would know. You see how the posts, even though the distance between them doesn't change, short posts, long posts, short posts, long posts. But never mind that. We're looking at the apparent horizon there in the distance. You know, above that misty, hazy, foggy area. That's obviously not fog. Misty, hazy, misty area. Okay, off there in the distance. And this one. This one and this one. Okay, we've got that established, okay? Well, that looks like there's drop between the convergence and the horizon. If you're a dim-dim and you think that mist and haze doesn't affect the world, like it's not a real thing. Okay, so let's see. What's this? Oh yes, now we're looking. Look at that great big sun. I'm going to go and look in the chat. Can you see that great big sun? It's very big, isn't it? Well, I mean, it looks big because of all the glare. Because really the sun's about half a degree and it would be really tiny, wouldn't it? Just tiny. Now, this is the same location, and as I go like this, oh, first, you might notice the post just got bigger, okay, but the lines also just got thicker. Did you see that? Did you see that, Rock Lover? As you zoom in, everything gets bigger. Good Lord. Now, you might notice that you have some striation. Okay, so see here, there's a line just there, and then a little bit of fading, and then another line. Okay, and then fading, and then line. Okay, and look, these, well, they appear to be going a little bit higher than this. That's right. That's with the absolutely exact way that I've placed these lines. Obviously, I'm being sardonic because it's not exact. Okay, but we can definitely see striations, a band, and then another band farther away. Let's see. Good Lord, we can't see bands farther away. Coming to just about here. We can't see those. See what I mean? Look. See how these convergence points come to here? There's only a tiny difference between here and this band. Okay. Tiny. So this should also show those striations, those bands of hills receding into the distance, but somehow you can't see them through the haze. Let's look in the other one. Also here you can't see them through the haze. And also here you can't see them through the haze. You can see some of the banding, you know, like here, some of the banding, but you can't see the other. That's right, no, because of the haze. That's what haze does. So look at this one. Rock Lover, I'm zooming in again. Oh, look, this time, okay, the convergence is at the most distant band. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Look, don't freak out, Rock Lover, but I'm going to zoom in. Oh, look how big the lines go when you zoom in. See, the convergence is at the most distant, well, horizon. Again, very big sun. Let's go here. Huh. Again, same pool, okay, but again, no distant hills. That's right, where the distant hills are, over here, you know, like we just saw. Where was it? Here. Those hills, well, they're just not there. It's gone. Not there. Oh, good Lord. But never mind that. I have a little surprise. What's this? Where's that circle there? Gonna zoom out. Don't freak out. Where's Wally? Okay. That circle there, that orange circle, why is that there? I mean, what what could I be showing with that? Let's go to these and show everybody it's the same place. Okay. So look, there's some distance between here and the horizon. Heavy sarcasm. Okay. There's some distance, some drop, according to the Globlings. Gave a hint earlier saying, oh, look at that great big sun. And then I said, oh, look, converging at the horizon. And then I just showed this. Why am I showing this? Well, because, believe it or not, according to the globe believers like Wes, Wally and Bobby Shafto, according to them, this circle is how big the sun is after it's gone through a solar filter. Not the glare, no. After it's gone through a solar filter, this is how big the sun is. I know it might seem absolutely ludicrous when you compare it with, say, this, how big the sun is there, you know, it's just ludicrous. Now let's see if we can establish something. What we're going to do is we're going to zoom in and we're going to place the posts about the same distance apart from each other. Okay, what we're doing is placing the posts about the same distance apart from each other. Okay, these need to be a little bit higher, just for, and a tiny bit closer. There. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, that's pretty good. They're about as far away from each other as in this shot. So, see this size of the sun that they say this is the drop. See? Let's go here and without changing the size. Okay? All I'm going to do, so I'm not going to zoom in or out. I'm just going to scroll over to the sun. Okay? That's all I'm doing. Scrolling. Well, that's tiny. And guess what? That's not through a solar filter. Look, that's a lot bigger. That's not through a... So the sun would really just be a tiny, tiny dot. Tiny, tiny dot. I know some of you will be understanding. That's not a tiny, tiny dot. What is this? Well, I told Rocklover that today his hero would come to support my explanation that Bobby Shafto's full of shit. What's this? It's Metabunk. What? Viewer height in meters, 360 meters. That's Bobby Shafto's height. Distance in kilometers. I just put 3. It doesn't matter because for what we're looking, you can put 30 or 30,000 if you want, or just lots and lots and lots. Why? Because it's not going to change what we're looking at. What is it we're looking at? We're looking at the refracted horizon dip. That's right. Or even the geometric horizon dip. You see? How much should the horizon dip? Half a degree. Do you see? Look. Just over half a degree here, the geometric horizon dip without any atmosphere and anything. And here's the refracted horizon dip. Refracted due to atmosphere. 0.56 degrees. But how big's the sun? 0.52 on average. Well, if that's the case, what this should be showing is the horizon about here. Why do I say about here? Because that would be about half a degree of drop. Not this. And that, Globlings, is your lot. Now I'm going to say in the immortal words of the critical drinker, go away now. But now for the flat earthers, I'm going to carry on because the globelings won't get what I'm going to show. Okay, bye-bye globelings. Now, you saw this, and this, and all I was doing was, well, following the lines to see where they converge. Oh, there's a new breed of complete imbecile globling, the kind of globling that thinks that things like, say, parallel planes, as if they were different to parallel lines, parallel planes never meet. You know, like walls don't exist. That they not never meet, never converge. You see, converge is a visual expression. Meet is different. They might appear to meet in the convergence point, but they don't meet because they're parallel. But converge means, well, gather at a point. What point? The distance. And guess what? When you have a corridor, and well, it looks like the walls meet, but they're the same distance all the time. Well, yes, I'm not joking. There really are that breed of globling delusional retarded moron now. So let's go to here. So I'm aiming over here, very good. And what about this? Now, I saw this and I thought, that's interesting. Let's triangulate the sun. Let's show people what I've been saying about the sun. Okay, in the book of the sun, I explain, look at this. The poor retardos think the globulin retardos think that is the size of the sun after going through a solar filter. That's how big it would be. That's right. God. So, here, all I did was follow the shadows to the sun. Obviously, just the azimuth, okay? You can see it's pretty spot on, and by the way, all I was doing, because of how you have to trace the shadow, the lines with the program I'm using, I couldn't see where they converged. All I was doing was going across and dropping it. It was out of the frame, out of my frame where I was dropping the line. And then, look, oh, right, very good. See that vertical little line? Even though we know that sometimes it's not vertical, looks very much like it's, well, coming from the convergence point. Very good. Now, this is for Dr. Zach. And I like Dr. Zach. He's working with some absolute morons. So this is for Zach. So that he realized that he's working with morons, okay? Right. I saw this and I thought, that's interesting. Here, again, they converge. See this beam, which is a filament. These filaments manifest in wheels. But never mind that. That would be too confusing for some people. And I'm talking about some flat earthers. They won't get it. Okay, even though they've seen parhelia. Yeah, no, still won't get it. Anyway, here's another beam over here. You can see just another beam. And, hey, what's this beam doing? I mean, it's not coming from this convergence point. This one, yeah, convergence. It's not some reflection bouncing up. No, it's coming from the point of convergence from, well, apparently the sun. Now, if only we could now, well, triangulate its elevation. Well, we can. Here it is. Now, you can't see, but the end of this shadow is just behind this Paint X light, which is a program I'm using. Now, you might note, look, I'm going from the center of this shadow through the post and on. Then I'm coming over here, going from a little bit farther away from the center. So not strictly in the center. Okay, I've biased it slightly towards the farthest end because the closest end is a bit closer to us, and you know, that's how perspective works. I could make it dead bang in the center, it wouldn't make much of a difference. Okay, but I'm just telling you why it's placed like this. Here there's a more bulbous shadow because this is more bulbous, the base of this column. Okay, this pillar, I mean, not pillar, pedestal thing. Right, so from here we trace it all the way to here. Here I've dropped a yellow line to show, well, convergence point and the slightly offset, like I've shown before, beam, the slightly curving beam. I've shown this so much, and brilliant people have shown me, sent me images of beams that they've caught. Like some of you are in the chat right now. Just awesome, awesome images of just beam. Not the sun in the corner of the frame. And no, just beam. Just brilliant. But wait a second, what's going on here? Look, this is just establishing the azimuth to the sun. Here somewhere, apparently. Okay, just in that direction. There, apparently. The azimuth. Because I'm taking this to be flat land, you know, this paved area to the left and right. Okay, so that way, just azimuth, very good. Jolly good, over there. Now what about the elevation? From the end of that shadow through the top to, oh, wait a second. That's not this point here. It's much higher. And we can see by the brightness of the sky that that's not where the sun is. It looks like the sun is farther down here from this point of view. But the sun isn't actually there. And you can establish in a very simple way. In fact, I will show you right now. Give me a second. I'm trying to, oh wait, I know what I will do. Wait, where is it? Here, I will switch to this. There I am, while I fiddle with windows and whatnot. All I'm going to do is open that picture in Paintex Lite, and let me see, what is it called? Okay, right, and then we're going to drop another line, so give me a second. Now I'm starting a program, and everything might get a little bit glitchy. I don't know, I've never used this program live before. But you will see, it's really simple, folks. All you have to do is actually go and look. That's all you have to do, just look. Right, so now I can change back. Where am I? Here. Hope you're enjoying this. And by the way, this is a big distraction. Addressing the morons is a distraction. It really is. I love doing this kind of stuff. Addressing the morons, massive distraction. So here we go. Let's make this a bit wider, a bit larger. Oops, a bit too large. Ugh. And now what I'm going to do, oh dagnabbit, where is it? This isn't the one, it's a different one. Sorry, I've got a terrible cold. I have a cold. In here. This is the one. And this is why you can't use the sun. You can't use the sun with the hope of using it in any kind of triangulation in order to draw a map from it. I'm going to show you right now. So Dr. Zach, pay attention because they're wasting your time. Now, look, these are converging here. You could say that that's the azimuth to the sun. Okay? Great. We can confirm this with this, well, beam. Great. But we have this other line from the end of the shadow, which is about here, whoop, through the top to the sun, which, well, from the end of the shadow, it must be here, the sun. Now, obviously, the sun is not that big that it would, I mean, it isn't, okay? That would just be silly. But I can now show you that neither of these points is where the sun actually is, okay? Look, I'm going to take the straight line. I'm going to grab yellow, and I'm going to go to 1, and I'm going to start here at the point of convergence here, okay? But wait, first I need to move this. I need to make it a little bit smaller. See what I mean about having it out of the frame? Right. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to do what people, you see, some architects know this, others don't. The point perspective, oh, come on, for God's sake. The point perspective drawing that architects do, the 3-point and even 4-point perspective, 5-point, all these perspective point drawings that architects do, they look very nice, they're all wrong. Because if you take a point like I'm going to do now, as soon as I can actually size this up to a usable, this will do. I will use this color instead. It would be more easy to see. And I'm going to grab from the point of convergence, about here, and I'm going to go through the base. Can you see I'm going through the base of the pedestal? See what I just did? I went from the same point across the top to the end of the shadow, and then I went from the same point, you know, people who think that the sun is a point in the sky, and went this time through the base of the pedestal thing. But can you see, and this is how perspective drawings are done, and this is why they're wrong. Can you see how it diverges from the real shadow? Can you see how the real shadow is being cast from this direction? And now I'm going to do the same. I'm going to, grab from here and go through the top. Oh, no, it doesn't work. I'm trying to do the same. Now I'm going from the bottom one through the top. I'm going to show you, okay, so from that convergence point, now through the top, over the top, let's see where the shadow go. Oh no, it doesn't, it's not working. It's not working. So if you were to do a point perspective drawing, from here you would have one set of shadows, and if you were to do a perspective point drawing or a point perspective drawing from here, you will have a different set of shadow, and neither of them would actually correspond to reality. That's right, folks. And I know that there are artists out there watching this, and I know that some of you have suspected or have like, oh, there's something wrong here. Hopefully, I tell you what, guys, in the chat, if any of you artists know this already, type X. If any of you have noticed this before, type X, and I'm going to have a big rant why you didn't tell me about it. So, you see, oops, sorry. This point here is casting a shadow in this direction. And if you want to think in terms of orientation, this is going away from us, okay? It's following the line of the shadow, away, 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 away. Very good. Now, if this point was the point that was causing that shadow, then that point would also be the point that would cause the shadow from the top, and no, it doesn't work because the shadow is here, okay? Now, when you go from the end of this shadow up, and continue, you get to this point here. Now if you use that point to cast a shadow from the bottom, because if you think that point is sending out light and no other point in the sky, just that point, okay, sending out lights, then, well, the shadow would come in this direction, which I just showed, this direction, and it obviously doesn't. You see why realist artists now actually making a comeback in society? That's right, because we can see things. I showed a video some months ago. Where am I? Here. I made a video some time ago, and I'm going to go and have a look in the chat, showing how camera orientation, very slight changes versus midground and background, shift the relationship between the objects when you zoom in and out. I took that video, I showed it first, I discussed it with a photographer friend of mine, Graham Ella. Graham Ella told me that doesn't happen, that's not true. I then showed him the video, and then he said, no, that's not what's, no, that's not, no. And then, afterwards, said, yeah, well, what's happening isn't what you think it is, it's some other thing. Like, no, dude, if you hadn't even noticed that happened, if you didn't know that happened, if you argued about that happening and then I showed you that it happened, and now that I've shown you that it happened and you've given it no thought, but what does physics say about it? And then, well, that doesn't match the real world, but wait, but huh? Don't try and tell me what's going on. Okay. Okay. Now I'm closing Windows, so I'm not using so many resources. I will save that. So we have the moron Globelings having one of their own moron Globelings use math to say the horizon drop from this height is this much. We then have another moron Globeling who doesn't know his model very well and what his model is supposed to show. So he shows this drop. He hasn't bothered checking, is that the drop that you should be seeing? Is that drop? Is that actual horizon drop? Or is that just the points of convergence going off into the mist, where if you were to remove that mist altogether, they would go to the horizon? No, because he's a moron fraud, and that's Bobby Shafto. Okay, and then we have the other moron fraud Deludo, where's Wally, while saying, and obviously you can't see the colour of the car, whilst he's cut to a frame where you can see the colour of the car, whilst he's saying that you can't. Danny Diesel, thank you very much. No flaws matters. Yes, it does. Aaron Dover, folks, go and look at Aaron Dover's video. No flaws matter, dude. If you have a link to, I'm just giving you a wrench. If you have a link to Aaron Dover's videos, or Aaron Dover's interview regarding going to the World Trade Center, please paste it. You now have a wrench. You can paste anything you like. So yes, they do matter. Truth matters. That's what it comes down to. Truth matters. So I'm looking in the chat. So for those of you who are artists in the chat, type X. Oh, I think I just saw an X. Type X if you'd noticed that with the sun before. Adrian Martin X and Ice to See X and No Flaws Matter X. You'd noticed that light doesn't actually show point convergence. That the sun doesn't show point convergence. Oh, we have Sparky Lee. How you doing, dude? Cernout, greetings. Listen, yes, of course. I'm going to answer what you were asking me earlier. Yes, of course you can join me if I go to the Bedford level. That's my plan. But first, I'm going to ask somebody who lives in Cambridge to go and scout it out. I heard that it had been cleared of reeds, but when I went last time with a bunch of moron flat earthers and some nice people to replicate the experiment, that's what's his name, Rowbottom's experiment, well, they didn't replicate it. There were reeds that were almost reaching the span of the canal, so almost from bank to bank. So if my pal in Cambridge goes, sees, and it has been cleared, definitely we'll be going. And then I will make plans and I will let you know. Turn out. And of course you can join me. Of course, dude. So now, is there not another canal river equally as suitable? Miles Davies, you can have a wrench too, you complete moron. There you go, you've got a wrench. I don't know that there's another one. I think there probably is, but I wanted to do the Bedford just so I could replicate Rowbottom's experiment at the place where he did it. If that one's too populated with reeds, then I'll see if I can find another, and we'll do that other one. You know, it just won't be it would be the same test, but obviously not at the same point. So, but you know, it's no biggie. But yeah, we'll look. Danny Diesel writes, type NWO if you believe everything the government says. Hey, Miles Davis, I think that's a comment for you. Type NWO if you believe everything that your government says. The Suez will do. Yes, it absolutely would. Except you might get shot, you know, if you try and do it in the Suez. Plus, the point of doing it at a canal, one of the British canals, is they're only about 3 foot deep. It's very easy to do. Maybe 4. Nice. Point physical objects, the sun, no. Yes, I to see hard lines and points of physical objects. The sun, no. Yeah, so I'm thinking of an experiment. I don't want a test. I don't want to give it away just yet because I want to check it out first. If my theory is right, and what I will do if it's right, I will explain the theory and then show the observation. If the observation doesn't actually concord with the theory, then it's not the observation that's wrong, it's the theory. So I will tweak the theory. That's what you do. That's a perfectly legitimate thing to do. Phase, why would you get shot in Suez? Are you kidding? If you went to the Suez Canal first, that area is massively policed for mercenaries, for pirates, for all kinds. I know people who've been through the Suez. It's not just like, oh yeah, can I go? Yeah, okay, bye. No, it's seriously policed. And if you just like say, wait a second, I'm going to get in the water, like they just, no. You know, get out of the water, you fool. That's what they would do. Frank, you know, Miles Davies have proved water is flat. Yeah, but people like Miles Davies, this is, okay, so this is, I'm going to wrap up with this. And I was going to read from the Book of the Son, but I got a cold, and he's taking it out of me. And I tell you what, I will. What I will do is I will wrap up this hangout, and then I will do one, and I'll call it the Book of the Son, the chapter. Okay? So I will be coming back in about 20 minutes after wrapping up. But here's the thing. Miles Davis, Where's Wally, Wolfie6020, Woofy, woof, woof, and the other morons. Okay, they are morons. Miles Davis, look, dude, I showed yesterday your cosmology is just a crock of gaslighting bullshit. You know, but you probably don't know it because you're stupid. That's why you still think you're on a globe. Now, with people like Where's Wally, and I'm not being ageist, everybody, hey, the way I see it is, if somebody's 80, they've already won. If you're 40 and they're 80, I'm not 40, but, and they're 80, they've won, you know, they've made it to 80. You have no guarantee you'll make it to 80, okay? But, and I'm not saying that Where's Wally is 80, just saying he's an old man. But to get to an old man, to get to be an old man through all your lives and problems and tribulations and successes and disappointments and happiness and tragedies and everything, and get to us, well, the autumn years of your life, and then find out that all of those things took place in a setting you know nothing about, because you thought all those things took place on a ball, and it turns out they didn't. And all those things in your bullshit ball world, where time is just a construct, it's not really a real thing, right? And this ball moves through space, and where something happens, an event happens here, the only memory of it happening here is in your brain. It happened here on the globe, in your brain it happened here. In reality, it happened, well, way back over wherever it was, however long ago it was, in space, where the Earth was when it happened. But now it turns out, no, that's bullshit. It actually happened at that location, and that location hasn't changed. So when you thought all those events were happening on a globe, moving through space, and it turns out they didn't happen on a globe moving through space. They happened in a real place. That place hasn't moved. The significance of that place is orders of magnitude greater than you can possibly imagine. Your importance is greater than you could possibly imagine. But you're stupid, so you can't imagine. You can't even half imagine it. Oh, I see somebody. Creso was taken, give N mod. Don't know. Maybe. Get yourself some tea. Scaries, thanks for that. I will. That's actually what I do. This one's cold. Don't like cold tea. Iced tea, great, but cold, hot tea, like, nah. Yeah, so the reason the Where's Wally's of the morons of the globe still hang on to the globe, and the reason they can't get past it, so even when you tell them and you show them, look, you know you're being poked fun at by the people who tell you that it's a globe, you realize they're actually poking fun at you. They're taking the piss out of you. They're taking the piss out of you. They're fucking with you. Even when you show them that that's what's happening, they can't let go, because it would be too hard for them to find sense in the world being flat, stationary, within reason. And I say within reason because everything's moving and growing continuously. They wouldn't find a footing. And for people like Where's Wally, it's just too late. They'll have to wait till the next go, the next time round, if they get another time round. And people like Miles Davis, same thing. They're just too stupid. So because they're too stupid, they can't see when their confirmation bias is saying, go out and check now. Oh, it's a bit misty. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Check now. Not. Go and check when you've got the best clarity. Just keep going and don't bother until you've got the best clarity, and then check. So, Sergio González, Team Planos, hello. And then you have Too Many Hits, a guy called Too Many Hits, who's a very stupid guy. He's agreeing with the moron who was saying two parallel planes never converge. They never converge. Apart from long corridors, the walls. I didn't bring in the concept of floors and ceilings because they don't understand up and down very well. Don't want him too confused. And oh, the guy's not here. That's interesting. He's not here chatting. I did say he would probably go quiet for a while when he realised just what a moron he'd been to say that parallel planes never converge. You know, like corridors don't converge, like train lines, which obviously are not planes, but you can project a plane, can't you? In fact, you can project an infinitely tall plane from both rails, from each rail, or converge. That's a kind of moron we have now. So with that, I'm gonna quit. Oh wait, what is this? Bozak TBC, Antonio Subiras, my latest migraines have been real ball busters. Is the dive still working for you? Bozak TBC, go and get it done, dude. You'll never regret it. You won't regret it. Just go and get it done. I've had headaches since. So I will say, I have had headaches since. I've not had migraines. I had a very strange I ate something that in the past has always given me migraines, and I didn't actually have any pain. But you'll know that with a migraine, the pain is one facet of it. It's the most distracting facet. But separate to the pain, there's the distraction. The pain distracts you. It's distracting. There's a vagueness to the world when you have the migraine, where the migraine is the thing and everything else is just vague. Well, I had this thing where I ate something that was made by somebody I know with this ingredient that usually gave me migraines. I didn't have a migraine, but I had the distraction and the vagueness. And it's like really weird. So, but yes, get it done. This piercing, get it done. Just get it done. Your left ear, okay, not your right. Don't let people say, oh, it doesn't matter which ear. It's your left ear. Our bodies have energies that go in different directions, left and right. We're not, yeah. I see somebody without a wrench, I'm going to give them a wrench. Bryson Black, I'm going to give you a wrench just a second. Add moderator, there you go. Bryson Black asks, can you please explain how a lunar eclipse is possible if the Earth is flat? Yes, I can. If you look at the video, let me see. I will look at Physics Girl, okay? So listen, go to the Physics Girl. Soy español, Daniel GD. Muy bien. Tómate una llave. Aunque seas español, porque yo soy catalán. Anyway, pero claro, hombre, te doy una llave. Gary Edlin, also you're getting a wrench. Okay, so to the person asking about eclipses, look. Go and look at, there's a channel called The Physics Girl. Go to The Physics Girl, look through her videos, and look at vortices in a pool. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just now very quickly look it up. In fact, no, I'm not going to. You look it up, or somebody in the chat, look it up and pass the link. When you understand what you're seeing, then you start to understand. Then you have a bigger possibility of understanding how eclipses happen. Because I can tell you how eclipses happen. I can literally tell you how eclipses happen. I can also tell you what light is. It's not a wave. I can tell you, but you have so much nonsense in your brain that it wouldn't go in. Later, when you started step by step to see that you have a whole bunch of bullshit in your brain, then you can start to see more clearly, and it's self-evident. When you can see clearly, it's obvious. I've shown some of it in this video, this very video in which you're commenting. Okay, folks, that's it. I'm wrapping up. I will be back in a while. Thanks, everyone, for your time. Somebody asked something. Auntie Meg, thank you for coming back to read the book. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. Very exciting. Okay, it's not going to be very long, but I am going to read a portion of it. Okay? I'll just a couple of minutes. All right. Thank you, folks.